You ever have one of those days where you walk into a room thinking you know every inch of it, every face, every shadow, and then, in a split second, realize there's a whole damn chapter of history sitting right under your nose? Yeah, that's how it happened for me. A Tuesday morning in the armory that should have been as forgettable as oatmeal, and instead turned out to be the day I met a legend who never wanted her own story told. Picture this: sun slanting through dirty high windows, checking off rifles and radios like always, pin scraping, the kind of routine that keeps you sane in the military. The only music was the clatter of gear, boots on concrete, mumbled orders, until, out of nowhere, there's this razor-sharp metallic hiss, not loud, just precise, like the sound a watch makes right before it stops ticking. That's when I saw her, Staff Sergeant Raina Mercer, sitting at the end of the room, almost in the shadows, working over a sniper rifle I didn't recognize. It wasn't standard issue. Wasn't even supposed to exist here. My gut told me trouble before my brain did. Years of command, you trust your instincts. I drew my sidearm, voice steady as a metronome, told her to set it down. She didn't even blink. Just kept cleaning, like I was background noise. You know what I mean? It was the kind of defiance that either comes from not giving a damn or knowing something nobody else in the room does. I stepped closer, saw the tally marks carved along the barrel. So many I lost count. Each one a story nobody's allowed to read. Next to them, a winged symbol, subtle, almost hidden. But I recognized it from reports I was never supposed to see. Valkyrie 0. Black Ops. Shadow work. Missions that officially never happened. Nobody moved. Every soldier nearby froze. Watching the standoff. Me, a colonel with a loaded pistol. Her, polishing a rifle that belonged to the ghosts. I ordered the serial checked. Dead end. No record. The room felt like a fuse about to blow, but Raina just stared through me. That's when I knew. I wasn't dealing with insubordination. I was staring down a secret the Pentagon had buried and hoped would stay buried. Then came the twist. Base-wide alarm blared, slicing through the silence. The kind you feel in your bones before your ears even register it. An ambush, recon team pinned down in the Sentinel Peaks. Bad place, worst timing. And I realized in that instant. All my questions about protocol, about rules, just didn't matter anymore. There was only the problem and maybe, the answer right in front of me. I didn't give her an order. Didn't even pretend I had that right. I just handed the M210 to her. Legend or not, we needed a miracle. She took it like it weighed nothing, checked the chamber, didn't say a word, and was gone. You ever watch someone switch from invisible to unstoppable in the space of a heartbeat? That's what it was. I'd read about shooters like her, but never seen one up close, until that day. The mountains were unforgiving, slopes that swallow whole units, wind that'll strip skin from bone, gunfire echoing like the end of the world. Raina moved up those ridges alone, steady, silent, reading terrain and distance like it was her native tongue. The team pinned down didn't even know what they were hoping for. The enemy was dug in, high ground, 2 snipers, a machine gun nest. No way out. Then one by one, her shots started cutting through the chaos. Clean, impossible distances, not a wasted round. When the enemy tried to adapt, she was already a step ahead. Moving across the rocks like gravity was optional. Halfway through, she caught a glint from a second ridge, another sniper. If she'd flinched, the story ends there. Instead, she ducked, rolled, returned fire, took him out cold. The recon team surged, buying ground with every shot she made. I was back at base, watching through a spotter's scope, barely breathing. Officers around me whispering about angels and ghosts. It wasn't luck. It was a kind of control that makes you question what you thought you knew about fear and courage. You want cinematic? Try the moment she risks her cover to flank a machine gun about to pin the team for good. Crawls across scree, rocks exploding inches from her, doesn't break stride. 2 shots, both targets down. And suddenly the team has a window. I could feel the whole base shift, the air, the tension, like we were all balancing on the same wire. The fight ended the way you hope but never expect. A handful of survivors climbing out of a kill zone, breathing thanks they'll never say out loud. Raina. She walks back down as if she'd been on a hike. No swagger, no celebration. Just this calm, almost dangerous quiet. When she handed me back the rifle, I saw a fresh tally mark on the barrel. Some things are worth remembering, she said. Not bragging, just fact. Later, when the smoke had settled, I called her in. Sat across from her in my office. The only light a lamp that made everything look older than it was. I showed her the photo from that day in Cunner, years ago, a single sniper saving a SEAL team nobody was supposed to remember. She didn't deny it, didn't confirm it, just let the silence tell the story. She talked, finally, about the cost, waiting on that ridge, extraction window missed, the names she'd lost. They need to learn how not to bring the mountain home with them. I told her that's all I wanted. The next morning, she showed up before sunrise, training 5 soldiers who thought they knew something about distance and decision. She made them listen to the wind, read light, measure risk in ways that had nothing to do with marksmanship scores. That's the twist nobody saw coming. The legend teaching others not how to kill, but how to choose what's worth remembering and what's not. At the end of it, I watched her stand in the armory, cleaning that rifle, carving a line at the end of the tally marks, a seam, not a count, a promise that the chapter was done. No headline, no fanfare, just the quiet pride of someone who knows exactly what price she's willing to pay and what she'll never pay again. So yeah, maybe you don't know her name. Maybe you never will. But somewhere out there, a handful of soldiers walk the earth because of a ghost who chose, for one day, to step out of the shadows. And if you think that story says something about justice, about duty, or about how legends really get made, well, I want to hear it. Drop your thoughts below. Share this if you think more people need to hear the stories that don't make the evening news. Because the truth is, not all heroes wear medals, not all marks are counted out loud, and sometimes, the seam at the end of a row means more than the number ever could. What do you think, right? Wrong? Or something messier in between? You tell me. You ever notice how, after a day that should have changed everything, people on base just slip back into their routines, boots thudding across wet asphalt, radios barking out orders, the same mess hall coffee burned to hell, like the world hasn't shifted a single inch? But the truth is, some days keep echoing long after the last shot fades. And the folks who were there, yeah, they walk a little different, see a little further, carry a weight they might never put down. And let me tell you, after that day with Raina, the ground at Fort Carson felt different under everyone's boots, even if most couldn't say why. I caught myself watching her from a distance that next week, not because I was suspicious, but because I wanted to see what a living myth did when the world wasn't looking. And what I saw was nothing flashy, just Raina slipping into the background, helping new recruits with jammed triggers, quietly fixing scopes that shot 3 inches wide at 400 meters. Never once taking credit, just blending in, almost daring the universe to challenge her low profile. Until one afternoon, command called for her by name. Not Mercer, not Staff Sergeant, just Raina. You're needed in ops, now. You could feel the ripple go through the place. Like, wait, they know who she is? That's when it hit me. The world wasn't going to let her vanish quietly. She walked in, ponytail tight, eyes calm as a winter pond, carrying a battered field case I'd never seen. Ops was a zoo, screens everywhere, analysts chattering, big red markers circling grid points on the map. Somebody had picked up encrypted comms out near the northern pass, nothing on the regular channels, but it felt wrong. Raina didn't say a word. She set her case down, opened it. You ever work with a legend before? He joked, trying to break the ice. She just smiled, dry as desert air. Legends are for the dead. Let's keep it boring. They hiked up into the pass at dusk, boots crunching frost, breathing slow and shallow, the kind of quiet where every branch snap sounds like a gunshot. Raina led, picking routes only a shadow would find. Travis tried to keep up, asking questions. How do you pick a hide? What do you do if you're cut off? How many notches you got on your rifle? She didn't answer, not really, just handed him a stone at one point and said, feel the wind through your palm. It'll tell you more than your scope. He looked at her like she was speaking magic, but he listened. They set up, overlooking the route the Mercs would take. Night fell, cold enough to sting your teeth, and for hours, nothing but wind and the slow sweep of headlights on a distant road. Travis dozed, but Raina never shifted, eyes locked through glass. Breathing steady as clockwork. Sometime past midnight, movement, a convoy, silent, low light, moving with the kind of discipline that says they've done this before. Raina whispered, get ready. Her voice so soft it barely existed. Here's where it gets sticky. Travis sees a woman step out of the lead vehicle, face hidden, but something about her stride makes Raina tense up. Watching the group, not shooting, just reading the scene. Then she sees it. The woman in charge plants a small flag on the ridge, black, with a single white feather. Twist inside the twist. The woman is ex-Allied Special Ops. Rumor was, she went dark years ago. But now she's here, leading mercs. And from the way she works, she knows Raina is up on the ridge. But one of the mercs testing the air, daring someone to reveal themselves. Travis flinches, but Raina holds him down. Not yet, she says, reading the battlefield like a chessboard. The mercs start moving supplies, trying to bait out a sniper. Raina watches, then deliberately leaves a spent casing where it can be found. A message, I see you. Don't push. The mercs back off. A small slip that would have cost her everything. She laughs, real and bright. First time anyone's heard it on base. Guess you can teach an old legend something new after all. Days pass. The base goes on. Raina starts teaching more, 5, 10, then a dozen snipers. None of them told the whole story, just given the skills and the standards. She never talks about the tally marks anymore. The new rifle stays clean, no notches, just a seam at the end. Some people call it humility. I think it's wisdom. That night, I found her sitting alone at the edge of the parade ground, looking up at the stars. I sat next to her, didn't say anything for a while. Finally, she looked over, half a smile, half a warning. You ever wonder what makes a legend, Colonel? So what do you make of it? When old ghosts come calling, do you stand your ground, or do you disappear? Who decides which marks get remembered and which ones get erased? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about what real legacy means, and who gets to write it. If this story stuck with you, don't forget to share it.